There's only ever going to be one Tommy Burns, isn't there? And his memories are always going to be in this brick and mortar. You know what I mean? And I can't wait for the Phil O'Donnell game next Sunday, because we can pay tribute to Phil and to Tommy Burns, and I'm sure it'll be a very emotional occasion for the whole Celtic Football Club and Scotland.
The affections of the fans are clear to see for all there. We can now join John Yogi Hughes, who's with us on the line. John, of course, played for Celtic under Tommy Burns. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Alec.
Sad day. What are your own memories of Tommy?
Yeah, well, as you say, a very sad day. You know, he signed me in '96 with Falkirk, and I thought it was a wind-up, to tell you the truth. I was just ready to sign a new deal with Falkirk, and my agent was Paul McMurdo. And we'd just come out of the Brockville, and we were sitting in Paul McMurdo's car, and the phone rang, and it was Tommy Burns. And, you know, Paul McMurdo says, Tommy Burns want you to go to Celtic. It was a dream for me, but as I say, I thought it was a wind-up until, you know, he handed over the phone. He says, get your big ugly backside through to Parkhead. And absolutely, you know, every minute. You know, I've seen Peter Lawwell's comments. In life, and I mean this sincerely, in life, you know, you can count on one hand how many special people you meet. My father was one of them. He was my hero, and Tommy Burns was he's up there with him, definitely. That's how much an effect it had on me. So much so that if you come and watch my team at Falkirk, it's everything that I picked up through at Parkhead. You know, the style of football, go and entertain, and that's all come through Tommy Burns.
I was just going to say that, John. How much of an influence did he have on you and the style that you've taken into your own management?
Massive, and I only worked with him for a year, but, you know, I went in there bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and, you know, I loved every single minute of it. And, you know, there was big players there, and players like Paul McStay, Pierre Van Hooijdonk, John Collins, good players. And you're sort of saying, you're doubting yourself if you could play in that kind of company. You know, and he would just say a thing like, listen, you can't do what these guys can do, but let me tell you something, they can't do what you can do. And that just made you feel so easy and part of the Celtic family.
Yogi, I think, sorry for him, that was something that I found as well, Yogi, that he could make you feel 10 foot tall, and you didn't have to be the greatest. You know, even with the young boys now, big man, he's got that great quality of getting the best out of them and asking them to demand of themselves to get the best out of themselves. And it's all about these standards. And you say, like, on the training ground, it's similar to myself, like the standards and ethics have rubbed off on me as well. And you watch your teams, and you see how passionate you are as well. So it's tremendous that you can say that. Yeah, well, that's where it comes from, and I've no embarrassment doing that. You know, the very best from flattery is, you know, you go and copy people, show you, and that's where I took it all. And I only mentioned them actually about 6 weeks ago in a team talk. You know, I just felt that my team was losing its way a little bit in terms of our style of play. You know, and I went back on about the Celtic when I was at Celtic, some of the players that I played with and the style of football that we played, you know, and the demands that Tommy put on us. And I said if it was good enough for Glasgow Celtic, then it's certainly good enough for Falkirk Football Club. And we've turned it around over the last few weeks. So, you know, everything, I couldn't, honestly, his integrity. And when I first went there, I'll tell you, when I first went there and just sort of finding my way, and I was in the pre-season, and you would do your pre-season training in the morning, and you'll get changed, come back, you'll get your lunch sitting about, and over the 2 weeks, 5 or 6 times I heard somebody, where's the gaffer? Oh, he's away to the casino, he's away to the big casino. I was driving home with Gordon Marshall, and I said, is the gaffer a gambler? He says, no, the big casino's the chapel. And he was very, you know, a great believer in his faith and everything like that, and a wonderful, wonderful man. He'll be sorely, sorely missed.
Thanks very much, John. Thanks for sharing those memories. We're now joined by James King on the line. Hello, John.
Hello, how you doing?
Not bad. What would you like to say about Tommy?
It's just a couple of memories I got of Tommy. Obviously, growing up as a Celtic supporter, I used to watch him playing the Celtic way, and it was always great to watch. So now and again, me and a couple of my friends used to bunk off school and go down and watch them at Barrowfield training. And Tommy used to come out of you and say, how you doing, boys? And I says, I know bad, sort of thing. What's your name? You gave me his name. What school do you go to? You gave him your school. And he said, if you're not up that road in half an hour, I'm going to the school and I'm giving him your names and you're going to get into trouble for it. So he was chasing you away even though he knew you were a supporter and you're trying to get him. He was always wanting better for the younger players, if you know what I mean, and the younger boys and supporters. And later on, I'm for the Girl Gad. We started up a team, and as you know, James McGrory is fair Oyston, so we named the park after him the James McGrory Memorial Park. And Tommy and Willie McStay, Willie was there that night, they sent up a youth team to play against us, and they absolutely tore us apart. And one of the biggest memories I've got is actually playing against Tommy Burns that night. I was right back, he was left midfield, and I kicked him, and I swear to God, it was all my pals at the side supporting, and they booed me rotten for it. But it was just one of the most cherished memories of my life. Is he could come and do that, and Willie's Celt, and they sent Celtic up, and they brought a team to the Gad to play boys for the Gad, and it was just honestly a dream come true for me.
Great memories, James. Thanks for sharing them with us. We're also joined by Willie Allison on the line. Good evening, Willie.
Hello.
What would you like to say about Tommy?
I've got a situation with Tommy. Was manager. I had a nephew who was suffering from leukemia. He was seriously ill. In fact, I know Willie McStay. I sat behind his father at the games. And the situation was, I went for tickets in a girl called Monica, and I was telling her about this nephew, a young man, and he looked as if he was going to lose his life. She asked me if I had his phone number, and I said I had, and I phoned it back into her. Tommy Burns contacted Sean and took him into Celtic Park. Now, I don't know how much Tommy did, but he did quite a bit, along with Billy Stark. John Collins was another one that was involved. Tommy took Sean with the team at times. He took him for meals. Sean is still living. Sean, like me, loves Tommy Burns to bits, like every Celtic supporter. But Tommy Burns is gone. Tommy Burns will live forever and ever in the minds of Celtic supporters. Now, what he did for Sean was he gave Sean the belief that he could overcome his illness. This laddie was in Beatson, and the Western, and really, really very, very ill. He's married now with a kid and thriving, and I'm quite sure that Sean will be a sorry boy tonight.
Thanks, Willie, for sharing those memories with us. Time to take another break now, but join us again for part 3 in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to the Celtic TV special commemorating the life of Tommy Burns. In his 14 years at Celtic Park, many players had the privilege of sharing a dressing room with Tommy, and a few more of his Hoops colleagues have been paying homage to their former teammate.
He had a great sense of humour, and he was always up for the big games. Great person to have in the dressing room. And at that time, in the early 80s, we had a few people with great personalities and sense of humour, and it was just one continual laugh all the time, and it was just a joy to play football with him.
It came a bit of shock when I heard it this morning. Obviously, like anybody else, the thoughts go out to Rosemary and the kids and friends and family, you know. But I think in the football world, people kind of knew it was coming, but it is a shock when it does happen.
Tommy was always a guy who was an upstanding citizen, you know, while the rest of us were, you know, at times heads full of nonsense. Tommy was the one who always brought a bit of sense to it.
He was a great player and a great player to play with, and out in his park when you're going out on European nights and playing games against Rangers, and you looked at all your players, you look at Tommy, and you were glad to be in his team because he was an out-and-out winner.
I remember when he came in as manager at Celtic, and we'd done our pre-season, and then the small-sided games we'd play, you want to join in every game, you know. He still had that I'm still a player, you know, and he still joined in every game, and a 20-minute game amongst the lads could end up an hour and a half because Tommy's team wasn't winning.
The best way I can describe the influence that Tommy had on me, and I think it was the same with other people, and I've only met 2 or 3 people. I've only been fortunate enough to meet 2 or 3 people that I would put in this category in my whole life, and that was that Tommy embarrassed you into being a better person. He embarrassed you into being a better trainer, being a better footballer, but generally to be a better person.
He probably, out of all the players that I ever knew, went to more Celtic things than any other player that I knew, so just for that alone, He was a great Celtic man.
People talk about ambassadors for football, and Tommy was that man for Celtic, you know.